Welcome to That 80s Show, and can you call yourself a self-respecting 80s show in 2022 if you do not start this week's episode with Kate Bush running up that hill? It's just what the kids are talking about on the TikTok. How you doing, Dori?
I'm feeling contemplative now, Paulo.
Contemplative, and in the words of Marty McFly, you guys probably aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are going to love it. It rings true. I got to tell you, so of course, Kate Bush, everyone's talking about it. Chart Savant will probably verify and update these facts because it is Friday morning. We don't quite know what the latest charts are. We don't know if she's number one in the UK. She possibly could be. I think sometime this week she was most streamed song on Spotify, all thanks to an appearance and that song's a very key plot point in the new season of Stranger Things. So, Dori, there's two things I love. I love sneakers and I love mullets. And I found something this week where they've been put together because I want you to see mullet shoes.
Oh, no. No! This is awful.
Mullet shoes. So what they look like is they're kind of canvasy white high tops, but they have a little Velcro headband at the back with a blonde mullet that sweeps the floor behind you. It is goddamn beautiful. From a sneaker company called Volley, who have made these mullet shoes. They are actually scary looking. I mean, imagine that hair is very luscious in this mullet, as it should be, but it's going to get very dirty. I'm sure that when they were designing these shoes, they went to like the bastion of outrageous mullets in South Africa, Krugersdorp, and they said, let's find, there are a lot of people there with mullets that sweep the floor. So guys, how are you doing this? We want to apply the technology to shoes. Of course, mullet shoes. Those gunshots here are people from Krugersdorp taking shots at me. The mullet shoes are actually done for charity. There's an amazing charity in Australia called Mullets for Mental Health. Okay, so it's, often you see Australians. I don't know this, right? When I clicked on the site to find it, you often see Australians with mullets, like rugby players and celebrities, and then you go, my God, Australia. Why do you have,
like, what the hell, Australia?
Come on. But actually, so many of them are actually part of this charity, Mullets for Mental Health, and all proceeds of the sales of these shoes will go to Mullets for Mental Health. These shoes are not, you can take the mullet off.
Oh, okay. That's what I was going to ask.
It detaches. Yeah, nice shoes, Volleys. Very 80s looking sneakers, but you can take the mullet off, said Michael Bolton never. So that's mullet shoes. Dori, listen. Listeners, Dori has been going a couple of weeks. She says, there is a rabbit hole. We love a rabbit hole on That 80s Show. We love just delving down and getting lost and clicking links and backspaces and Reddit and dark web. We love going down them, especially when it involves 80s people. Dori has been teasing me with a rabbit hole for weeks. Okay, we're going to get right into it now, Dori. Hold your breath. Let's go. Over to you, Dori.
I'm talking about the TV series Saint Elsewhere this week. It was a hospital drama. It was like the original hospital drama before ER, before Grey's Anatomy. There was Saint Elsewhere. Do you remember famously that the man who did the voice for KITT in Knight Rider was a star on Saint Elsewhere?
No.
So his name's William Daniels. He's an actor in his own right, but probably most famous for being KITT. Secondly, most famous for being in the series Saint Elsewhere. So I remember being interested because I was like, I want to see what the guy who does the voice for KITT looks like. So I think my parents probably let me maybe watch 5 minutes one night so I could see, this is the guy who does the voice of KITT. Because they will remember, no internet. How am I going to know what he looks like? Otherwise. The other thing that interested me about Saint Elsewhere is that one of the main stars was, as you would know him now, from reality show. What is it? Is it America's Got Talent? One of those. I don't watch any of them. Howie Mandel. Howie Mandel was one of the main stars. Now, I knew Howie Mandel at the time from his stand-up comedy. Do you remember he had curly black hair, like longish curly black hair, and he used to do the freaking funniest stand-up comedy. He used to put on these voices. He used to do all these characters. He was one of my absolute favorite, probably one of the first stand-up comedians that I like fell in love with in my childhood.
And he's the voice of Gizmo from Gremlins.
That's what I was going to say. So when I went down the rabbit hole, I also discovered that he did the voice of Gizmo. I didn't know this. I did not know this, but I thought you would know that for sure, that you would know he was the voice of Gizmo. So yes, he does all these squeaky little voices and stuff like that. But do you know, Paolo, so remember a while back I spoke about the TV series Newhart, and I told you that it had a really weird ending where it all turned out to be a dream. And it was like, what a weird cop-out ending. This series went down a similar route. But there are consequences to the route that this series took. I'm going to read you because this is how I happened upon the story. I was sent. I'm going to just read it to you as it is. The seminal hospital drama of the 1980s, St. Elsewhere, was never resoundingly successful in the ratings, but it racked in Emmys over the years for its realistic, often dark tone and moments of humor. Its large ensemble cast. Oh, yes, by the way, Denzel Washington was in it as well. By the way, one of his first roles. I don't remember this. Yes. So it actually had quite a famous cast. Before I finish reading this, let's go through some of the cast members because it had, as I said, Howie Mandel. It also had David Morse, one of my favorite actors. Christina Pickles, who it might not sound familiar, but you know her. She's been in some soap operas and stuff like that. Denzel Washington. It had Mark Harmon. Remember Mark Harmon? Also like hugely famous 80s actor. Its large ensemble cast had a number of crossovers with the similar Hill Street Blues and carried on many long-form serialized storylines, leading to great character development over the course of the series. It's today often remembered for a different reason. For having perhaps the single most WTF finale moment in TV history. At the end of the finale, at the end of the final St. Elsewhere episode, the characters are revealed as having all been the creation of the autistic Tommy Westfall, who owns a snow globe wherein the imaginary St. Eligius Hospital exists. I'm going to say that again. How they ended, and the final clip is on YouTube. I will post it, how it ends. So basically, you've watched 6 seasons. Let me just clarify. This series ran for 6 seasons from, I'm going to give you the dates right now, 1982 to 1988. 6 seasons of this medical drama with a huge cast, as we've been through. And they decide to end it by saying, none of it was real. None of it happened. It's all in the weird imagination of one of the main doctors. He has an autistic son, and the son had a snow globe that had the hospital in the snow globe, and his son imagined all of it.
You got to remember.
Okay, yeah,
because we can forget, yes. Right? We live in a binge society. So, like, when you in a show now, when you're binging, and it ends in a crappy way, it's like, okay, well, maybe that was like a weekend or a couple of days of my life, right? I'm upset because I could be watching something else, but it was only a couple of days. Back in the 80s, this was week by week for only like a couple of weeks at a time. So 6 seasons is like, that's a 6-year investment, okay, into this show. For them to come with a crappy bullshit snow globe ending like that.
So now, because there was so much crossover, and remember, crossovers became quite a thing in the 80s where you'd share characters between different TV shows. So because there was crossover with not only Hill Street Blues, other shows as well. I'm going to read this part. Because so many other shows and characters overlapped with St. Elsewhere, some fans say that this means that everything from Hill Street Blues and Homicide: Life on the Street to the X-Files all take place in the Tommy Westfall universe by extension. So if he imagined Saint Elsewhere, he also imagined those, which means none of those are real either. Okay, Paulo, click the link that I've just sent you. That is a very bored person or group of people have mapped what they call the Tommy Westfall universe. They have found links to all the shows that clearly exist only in Tommy Westfall's brain.
I'm lost here, right?
Right.
So is this Tommy Westfall because it's the actor and all the different things he acted in?
No. Tommy Westfall is the kid in Saint Elsewhere. But what happened is because there was so much crossover, and the crossover kind of like a web, it spreads out, and then it creates more and more, like an onion, layers and layers. And it is a long list. And we're talking about shows that go through to the 2000s, not only stuff from the 80s. I'm going to just skim through the list. I'm going to just mention some of the things on it, okay? Saint Elsewhere has direct connections to 12 other television series, many of them direct crossovers of characters to and from the series. Others make mention of specific parts of the Saint Elsewhere fictional universe, placing them within the same fictional sphere. So, if Saint Elsewhere only exists within Tommy Westfall's mind, then so does every other series within that same fictional sphere. Some of the links are direct. Characters cross over from television series to television series all the time. It's a long-time television tradition. Some series spin off entire other series, obviously expanding their fictional universes. Okay, so now what it says here, it says, there isn't necessarily any rhyme or reason with having one series connect to another. There's no attempt to have any crossover consistency within the series themselves. But someone has gone and literally found every little connection that they could, and come up with this list, which basically says, because of this premise that Saint Elsewhere did not exist, therefore all these TV shows did not exist either. And it is a long list.
Cheers is in there, Loving is in there, but even up till It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is in there, Knight Rider's in there. Dori, I got to be honest with you, I have no idea what you're talking about. This is the most confusing thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've been helping my daughter with maths this week. My God, what? They just let anyone on the internet these days. And I think this is the problem here.
Someone has updated it. The new shows that linked in were Supergirl, The Flash, Without a Trace, CSI, Girl Meets World. What else have they got on the list here? DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Fuller House, Degrassi, The Next Class. And it says there are 49 shows on the list that are still airing. Okay, this was in 2016. But the blog post ends with, we've hit peak television and peak Tommy.
God, we thought Marlena being possessed by the devil was fucking low point of 80s television. I need to lie down before I have my movie, and I need some Wham. Welcome to that 80s show. The last half hour did not exist. It was just a figment of your snow globe imagination. Oh God, Dori, you should go work for Discovery and work out vitality points, because that is the only way what you just told us ever makes sense. How many Discovery points did I get for listening to that?
2.5.
2.5. Thank you very much. Now, Dori, we all have a friend who wears a Punisher t-shirt. We all have him.
I do. I literally do.
And if you don't know the Punisher, it's the skull t-shirt. It's just the skull taken from the Marvel comic. And that's my movie this week. But not the Punisher series on Netflix. Not the mid-2000s Punisher reboot. We're talking about the original 1989 Punisher. Okay, the story of Punisher, Frank Castle, he is a cop, ex-Marine. His family gets killed. His whole family wiped out by the mafia because they witnessed a crime. So then he just goes, enough of this, vigilante, I'm going to kill all criminals, right? One-man wrecking crew. This is the story of the Punisher. If you watch Netflix, you've seen the story. But it all started the first time they brought the Punisher to screen from the comic books was in 1989. Dori, I've been talking about him a lot lately. He of huge nipple fame, or you say protruding nipple fame. Who played the Punisher in 1989?
I'm going to take a wild guess that it was Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Mother Lundgren. Poor guy. We spoke about it the other day. How many chances did he have to be the guy? But always just missed it in the 80s. He wasn't quite Sly Stallone enough. He wasn't quite Arnie enough. He was always just kind of there. And he never became the action star that I feel he deserved. A genius. A martial arts expert. A Grace Jones shagger. But a B-grade actor. So my movie recommendation this week is Punisher from 1989, and it follows the story from the comic books. Dolph Lundgren, he had just come out of Rocky. This is before Red Scorpion. He must have been shooting the two at the same time or just after each other. Masters of the Universe didn't quite blow up. He didn't really want to do the Punisher because he said, I've just played a toy, as He-Man. I've just done this kind of comic booky thing. I don't want to do it again, but he felt that this could be his break. They wanted to, his name just slipped my mind. The Highlander. Who played the Highlander?
Christopher Lambert.
That's it. Okay. They actually wanted him to play the Punisher, but he broke his ankle. He broke his ankle and he actually couldn't do the action sequences, of which Dolph Lundgren does all his own action sequences. Martial arts expert, right? He's got a lot of energy to burn off. Right. He was not with Grace Jones at this point. So I've got to fuck people up. So the movie is terrible. Louis Gossett Jr. Makes an appearance. Phenomenal actor. Makes an appearance as a cop. You can't be a vigilante. You got to stop your vigilantism. Biggest controversy of the movie Punisher is that, unlike our late 40s friends who should not be wearing Punisher t-shirts, Dolph Lundgren's character did not wear the Punisher t-shirt in this movie, and fans were like, "What the effing hell?" Like, if you're gonna do a comic book movie, you got to look like the comic book. And remember, we've spoken about it many times, 1980s comic book movies were not like they are now. They were terrible. They were bad. Very badly done.
I seem to remember a newer version of The Punisher starring Thomas Jane from perhaps the late 90s, early 2000s. Am I correct?
That's the mid 2000s. They did a reboot. So, but make time for The Punisher. That is my movie recommendation this week. They call him the White Duke. Some people call him the Fifth Beatle. He's been known as the other white meat. His name is the Chart Savant. He has been away for a while. He invented a game for Dori and I. His ID book says Barrett Edelstein. Barrett Joyce Edelstein. Joyce is his middle name. Who knew?
Joyce.
What is your middle name, Barrett?
I don't have a middle name. I've got a Hebrew name, but not a middle name.
Okay. So Barrett, the Chart Savant, invented a game for us. He loves charts. He gives us 5 songs, the top 5 from a particular chart in a particular year. And Dori and I have to guess the year, the month, and whether it's US or UK. As he shuffles around, listen to him shuffling around his papers. This is legit. This is not theater of the mind. He has literally got papers. I've got 5 songs here, but Barrett also gives us a clue to help figure out the year.
Yes, so the clue this week is seek and ye shall find. That's the clue. Seek and ye shall find. Okay, so up from 7 to number 5, it peaked at number 4 in this country. Only in My Dreams is the debut single by American singer-songwriter actress Debbie Gibson. The song was written by Gibson in 1984, it was produced by Fred Zarr and engineered by Don Feinberg for Bizarre Music Inc., mixed by Little Louis Vega and mastered by Herb Pump Powers. The song was voted 95th on the VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of the 80s. Down from 3 to number 4, it peaked at number 3. Luca is a song written and performed by American singer-songwriter Suzanne Vega. It remains her highest charting hit in this country. Worldwide, the song charted the highest in Sweden, peaking at number 2, and reached the top 10 in Austria, Canada, New Zealand, and South Africa. Sean Colvin sings backing vocals on the record. Luca earned Vega nominations at the Grammy Awards including Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Female Pop Vocal Performance. The song deals with the issue of child abuse. Vega revealed her inspiration for Luca. Speaking as Suzanne, a few years ago, I used to see this group of children playing in front of my building, and there was one of them whose name was Luca, who seemed a little bit distinctive from the other children. I always remembered his name, and I always remembered his face, and I didn't know much about him, but he just seemed set apart from these other children that I would see playing, and his character is what I based the song Luca on. In the song, the boy Luca is an abused child. In real life, I don't think he was. I think he was just different. Down from number 3 to number 4 is Suzanne Vega with Luca. Up from 4 to number 3 is Richard Marx with Don't Mean Nothing. It peaked at this number. Don't Mean Nothing is the debut single by singer-songwriter producer Richard Marx from his triple platinum same name album. With the chart success of Don't Mean Nothing and subsequent singles from his debut album, Marx became the first male artist to reach the top 3 of the pop chart with 4 singles from a debut album. This is Richard Marx with Don't Mean Nothing. And number 2 is our clue, Seek and Ye Shall Find. So down from number 1 to number 2 is Madonna with Who's That Girl? So she's searching for the girl. So that's where the link comes in. Might be my brain, but I thought it was a cute clue. Anyway, Who's That Girl is a song by American singer Madonna from the soundtrack album of the film Who's That Girl. It was also nominated for Best Song Written for Visual Media at the Grammy Awards and Best Original Song at the Golden Globe Awards. This is Madonna, Who's That Girl?
There are 3 songs that in my head are not different songs. They're all the same songs. It is Who's That Girl, La Isla Bonita, and Spanish Eddie. To me, they're all the same song. I don't separate. I don't separate.
Not even the same.
I know.
Spanish Eddie's by Laura Branigan.
I know.
It's very, very different to this.
But that's what I'm saying. In my head, don't ask me. This is my head. Okay, I don't see medical dramas and snow globes. But for me, those 3 songs are the same song. I know they're different, obviously, but my brain puts them all.
The late Laura Branigan here. I'm sorry.
No, trust me, we've insulted the late Laura Branigan many a time.
That's so rude.
Okay, song number 1 in this particular year.
Up from number 2 to number 1, La Bamba, pronounced as La Bamba, is a Mexican folk song originally from the state of Veracruz, also known as La Bomba. The song is best known from a 1958 adaptation by Richie Valens, a top 40 hit in the US charts. Valens' version is ranked number 345 on Rolling Stone magazine's list of 500 greatest songs of all time. La Bamba has been covered by numerous artists, notably by Los Lobos, whose version was the title track from the La Bamba biopic about Valens. Their version reached number 1 in many charts in the same year. This is number 1, La Bamba by Los Lobos.
A very Latin 1 and 2 there. I know the year. I know the year.
That last one confirmed my thoughts on the year. I have a story to say why.
Let's go. Let's hear the story.
So I was, I think, 13 years old. It would have been first year of high school. I went to a screening of La Bamba. It did just come out on the big screen, and I got invited to screening. I can't remember how or why. And I remember going with this guy, Paul. It was like our first date. It was the most awkward experience of my life. We never had a second date, but I loved the movie.
This year of your terrible first date was the year 1980?
6.
Dori, I think that first date was so impactful on you that it literally took a year of your life. La Bamba came out in 1987.
Oh, wait. I would have turned 13 at the end of 1986. That makes sense. So yes, 1987 then, correct.
So Barrett, we're saying 1987 and Dori thinks it is a US chart.
So correct, 1987 US chart. I made it easy this week. What month and week?
Random guess, September.
February.
August 29th, 1987.
Thank you, Barrett. That is the Chart Savant game. We haven't played in a while. But Barrett, you got something to tell us. Last week we had Rick Astley's People. Look at our Instagram. This week, Def Leppard. Def Leppard was up in our... not in our DMs, but they were on our TLs, whatever. Def Leppard. So Barrett organizes all the interviews for that 80s show, and he gets not only 80s stars, he gets so many other stars that he can interview that he's decided to do a spin-off. So kind of remember when like Frasier left Cheers and had his own show. This is what Barrett's doing right now. He's got a spin-off going. Barrett, tell us more about your new show and where we can find it.
Okay, so Celeb Savant is launching next week. We're busy finalizing the YouTube and Instagram pages, so all of those little biddies I can reveal to you next week, because we're finalizing those bits of information today and tomorrow, and all of our first interviews launching next week. So it's going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on Instagram, and it will be audio podcasts. As soon as I have the details, we'll definitely share it. It's going to be cool because I've spoken to movie places, I've spoken to the concert places, and putting it out there that we're going to be interviewing actors and all the artists that are coming here for concerts, and it's going to be fun and really exciting. So yeah.
So that is the Celeb Savant, Chart Savant, Celeb Savant, and Barrett, don't worry, you don't have to pay us for the name. You can have it for free. Gave me a little freak out this morning.
Those 1,000 things. I was like, oh my word.
So that has been that 80s show. What a week, Dori. My God, I still haven't quite gotten over your thing, your Discovery Vitality Points snow globe.
I could say to you, Paulo, what did you learn in today's show? And you'll be, I have no cooking clue.
I learned something, like it just did not go into my brain. So everything you heard on the show today, that 80s show SA on Facebook, as Barrett said, that 80s _show on Instagram. There's something like that. It's that 80s show on Instagram. You'll find it, and then also look out for the Celeb Savant as soon as it's ready. We'll also post it. Any links from our show, and I just want to sign off. A huge number one fan of the show. Some people say the only fan. Cousin Louis is actually in hospital right now. He had a operation on his foot and ankle and Achilles area. So I said to him, should we play a song for you to make you feel better? And Dori, guess which song he said we must play for him?
Brother Louis?
No, as he's lying, recovering from lower leg surgery, he wants to hear Footloose. Thanks for joining me, Dori. Goodbye.
Bye.